What is good, all of our listeners and viewers? Welcome back to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
And I'm Liz.
And there's a leak on the roof of our studio. Woo! We are here with episode 113, where we're going to talk with Brian McGuinness. I call him Mike McGuinness in my head, but Brian McGuinness with should games go back into gray areas. But first, we've got some segments for you. Yes, we do. So there's a leak. And
there's a leak in the boat.
There's a leak in the boat.
So, and if you don't know that reference, you should.
So right before we started recording, the table was what do you call it? That's right, wet.
And so our chairs a little bit. Mine's a little damp.
Yeah, so we had a really bad storm right before we started recording, and it was fine. You know, everything settled down, and then I come in and I say, "Aha! Table has puddles on it."
Yep.
But the mics work as far as you can hear. So
as far as we can tell,
it hit like it was right around here, all the puddles, and it was right near the mics. And I'm like, oh, good. The expensive mics were wet, but no, they were bone dry for some reason. So just missed it. Cool. Liz, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't really have much to say today. I had an okay day at work.
Yeah. You want to get... What's that?
What were you saying?
I was going to say, then you want to get started then?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Did you have something to say?
No, I was just going to say it was a lot of complainers this week.
Yeah.
It was great.
So we're on...
Okay.
Oh. So we're on social media. We're on Twitter at Game and Groceries on Twitter, or you can follow us individually. I'm at Ace the Grocer.
And I'm at Journey First.
So you can follow us there individually. Be friends with us there. I'm having problems with tongue twisters today for some odd reason. Follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word, where I'm posting stuff. If you listened to last week's show, I just said I want to post more on Instagram. It's just that there's nothing really going on right now. Everything's kind of paused right now. So I will ask you questions for the podcast. You know, I'll have the topic and I'll say, hey, you want to join the conversation? Cool. Here's a question about the conversation coming up. And and we're also on Facebook. Cool. But we also have a website, gamesgroceries.com, where you can listen to all the podcasts from the website, as well as you can find out where you can listen to the audio versions of the website, as well as some articles I've written in the past.
Yes.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, hi, how you doing? You enjoying the stuff? That's cool. Definitely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can know when all these podcasts come out, as well as our weekly discussion videos. I just had one right up here, boom, where I talked about Xbox just shifting over into another next-gen console war. So, it was pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So I'll have that every single week. And we got a big project coming up pretty soon. I don't want to announce anything yet, but it's almost finalized. It's definitely in the works, and I'm very excited for it. Mm-hmm. So it's in the works. Just got to finalize a few things, but I think the fans of our show are going to enjoy it. So,
yes.
And if you want more podcast goodness of me and Liz just talking anything, what's the biz? It's our other podcasts. Links are down below. And don't forget to review us on Podchaser. That link is also down below in the description. So with all that said and done, I think it's time to go into the podcast, right?
I think we can do that.
Why don't we get started with our first segment?
Movie Minutes.
Movie Minutes is a segment that we talk about the movies in the past week that we saw, whether it be on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, not really in theaters in this point in time, and we like to review it and give you a recommendation or not a recommendation. And we have a 5-point system here. We have a avoid at all cost, pass, enjoyable, solid, and perfect for us. Mm-hmm. So this week's movie is actually something we both wanted to see and we didn't tell each other.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it.
And I wanted to see it, but we didn't think the other one would want to see it.
So we're just like...
we didn't watch it for months.
Yeah. But now we watched it.
Woohoo!
It's found on Hulu. It's a Hulu exclusive. It's a Hulu-made movie.
Yes.
It's called Big Time Adolescence.
Big Time Adolescence.
Big Time Adolescence. Boom. So, opening thoughts, go.
So, as we said, I wanted to see this movie. It came out on Hulu a couple months ago. And I remember seeing it, I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Like, I wasn't like, oh my God, I have to watch it. But I was like, it looks interesting, but I don't know. Adam might think it's stupid. So I'm like, I didn't even bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were trying to figure out what to watch, and I was sending him stuff, and I'm like, what about this?
Mhm.
And he's like, yes, I didn't think you'd want to watch it. I'm like, I didn't think you want to watch it.
Yeah.
So I thought it looked really funny, and it has the dad from
John Cryer.
Yeah.
But the dad from 2.5 Men.
Yes.
Yes.
From 2.5 Men. I could not. The name like left the second I tried to say it.
John Cryer's in it. Bald.
yeah,
Bald
which-
John Cryer.
He looks good.
Yeah.
It's like a much better look for him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It was funny. It was interesting. A little predictable at times, but
we'll
still,
get to that.
Well, this is my overall thoughts.
Yeah.
But still really enjoyable overall.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
So this has to be one of the best opening credits explanation of a movie I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I really like the opening.
Yeah, because like the opening explains the relationship between Zeke and Mo. It explains why they're together. And then the opening scene is just a montage. It's just the opening credits, but instead of like a montage of just little pictures here and there, it's a
Yeah.
montage of the years going forward. And they're just hanging out, and that's it. And I thought that was the most best way, the most clever way, just to have an opening credits montage, but also give more explanation to the movie. And I thought that was fantastic, and it just really gives you an introspective of what's going to be happening in this movie. And you get to really see that this is very similar to mid-90s.
Yeah.
Mid-90s was another one of those, I don't even want to say coming of age, but like hard adolescence years, but with more comedy to this. This is a lot funnier. But would you agree that this is kind of like a similar plot to mid-90s?
Similar plot, similar vibe. I kind of like this story better than the mid-90s story.
Yeah.
Mid-90s kind of let me down. But we're not talking about that. But yeah, it definitely has that mid-90s vibe to it.
So this is all about the pursuing relationship between Zach and Mo.
Zeke.
Or Zeke. I wrote down Zeke, but in my head I'm like, Zach? I'm like, no, it's Zeke, which is short for Isaac, we find out.
Yes. Find out at the very end.
Yeah, it's like he's like, oh yeah, but so yeah, it's Zeke and Mo, and I think the relationship, like the balance of it, is perfect. Like the whole movie, it's only an hour and a half, and I feel like the pacing was set up very well to being how these kids get into this kind of life, how adolescence operates. This is a very realistic way of how all this goes down and how somebody gets into the drug life.
Yeah.
Very easily and very smoothly. This isn't just like, hey kid, you want to sell drugs, and he gets in. This is just a very easy in. This is how you get into this life.
Like someone who comes from like a very good background.
Yeah.
Can get into this life. Because, usually you only think of like the kids with bad backgrounds. This kid had a great life. And then, but he still found a way.
Yeah, and I think it's set up perfectly for that, and it gives us an example and a lesson to be heard for people of the adolescence. I think it's funny, but it also has a meaningful message behind it, and I absolutely adored of how this movie was paced.
Yeah.
And it's only an hour and a half, and I felt like none of it felt like an hour and a half. Like I wasn't watching my clock or anything. It felt the perfect length.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that anything needed to go without. I don't think anything needed to be cut.
Yeah, no.
It was a good length.
And I think that the movie wraps up nicely. Not even a happily ever after. Like, oh yeah, everything is good and well. Like, no, it's not even a happily. It just wraps up nicely. It gives closure. It gives you with a lesson to think about. And I think it just it has a beginning, middle, and end, and you don't really feel let down because of this movie.
Yeah, I really like the end scene.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting that.
It was not even the end scene. It was like more of the epilogue scene.
Yeah, where it's just like, this is what happened after.
Yeah.
And I just really loved it because you know how I like closure with story.
Yeah, and this gave perfect.
It was because you knew exactly what was like. Even though the last words were like you didn't know what was going to happen, you knew what was going to happen after that.
And the scene, the final scene, was just the perfect way to really tell how life can go. Where he's moving forward, and he's just sitting back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so perfect. A spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you just told them like part of the end.
I'm sorry, but that end scene was just
It was
the perfect emphasis
But
of what the story's trying to tell.
even the dialogue I really like.
Oh, yeah.
Like those small little like
Yeah.
things. Like I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. So, but let's give our final reviews of it. Out of the 5-point system, avoid at all costs, pass, enjoyable, solid, and perfect for us. What did you give it?
I gave it a solid.
A solid. Why is that?
Because, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie. When it came down to rating, I was like, I don't have any complaints.
Mhm.
It was a really good movie. I don't see anything wrong with it that like
Mhm.
off the bat. The only reason it's not a perfect, because something about it didn't feel perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I feel like I can watch over and over and over again. Maybe
Yeah.
a couple times, every couple of years or something.
Sure.
But or once I forget it again.
Yeah.
But it's really good. The only thing is that wouldn't watch it too many times again. It's not
Yeah.
like super rewatchable. And like I said, it's minorly predictable.
Yeah.
Because it is a coming of age story. So there are those small parts that didn't surprise me, but it did have those really good parts that were out of the ordinary.
Yeah. I also gave it a solid where I was struggling. Do I think this movie's perfect? When I say a movie's perfect for us, do I have any complaints from me? Is there anything I can take away from this movie that I can't argue that it's not perfect for us? Can't emphasize that much, but like you said, there are some predictable parts. We have seen this story before. It's not like Parasite, where I thought Parasite was perfect for us. But I thought Parasite was a perfect film. I didn't have any complaints. I couldn't tell you what was wrong with that movie. Whereas this one, it was just kind of, I've seen this story before. It was predictable.
It wasn't anything new. They did like a new idea, but it wasn't a new base plot.
So I'm giving this I would give it a very generous perfect, but I'm leaning more towards solid.
Yeah.
It's a solid film. I definitely recommend it. It's not one of those movies that I say, stop what you're doing, go watch it. But it's definitely solid.
It's like a solid 0.999999999.
Yeah, really. For me, yeah. But yeah, that's what we give it. We both gave it a solid.
Yep.
And yeah, it's Big Time Adolescence. It's found on Hulu. It's a Hulu made movie, and I definitely recommend putting out. It's only an hour and a half. I think it's a really good movie. I think it's well paced, and I think you'll enjoy it. So Big Time Adolescence with that. So let's just move on to our video game section.
Yeah.
So let's just move on to our second segment.
Top 3 Gaming News.
Top 3 gaming news is the gaming news that we saw in the past week, and we like to rank it 3, 2, 1, just to give you a condensed version of what's going on in the gaming industry. Everybody, whoa.
What was that?
I don't know. So yeah, the top 3 gaming news, everybody. This is the gaming news that we saw last week, and we want to just give you a little brief summary of what happened in the past week with just 3 pieces of gaming news. So let's just get started with our number 3 gaming news. It's about Strauss Zelnick, everybody.
What was that name?
Strauss Zelnick, everybody. Mr. Muscle Man himself.
Wow.
Yeah, he's ripped.
That's nice.
So what the heck?
It must be nice to be ripped.
What? Oh, I thought you were like, it must be nice to have a ripped man in the house. Dang. Dang. Anyways.
I do have a ripped man in my house.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Take-Two CEO, Strauss Zelnick, takes back what they said about the $70 price point about games. Kind of. So, a crazy story comes out where Strauss Zelnick, he gets interviewed and he's saying like, remember that $70 we said about NBA 2K20? Not necessarily all games. I don't think the industry will really follow that. So I want to read this quote from Strauss saying this. There hasn't been a price increase for the frontline titles for a really long time, despite the fact that it cost a great deal more to make those titles, ripped Zelnick replied. And we think with the value we offer consumers and the kind of experience you can really only have on the next generation of consoles, that the price is justified. Wow. Justified versus sanctification. Now, what's the difference? Anyways,
That's not what we're talking about.
but it's easy to say that when you're delivering extraordinary quality, I know extraordinary, whatever, and that's what our company prides itself on doing. Take-Two Interactive. Yeah, so what are you saying later on is saying, oh, we feel that it's justified to have next-gen NBA 2K to be $70 because the price point justifies it for some reason. Because, you can't get this kind of value for next-gen. And also, Take-Two is all about, really, really giving that next-generation feel. You sure about that? I don't know. I feel like if anybody were to say this, it would be Rockstar Games. Are they by Take-Two? Wait, hold on. Maybe they are. Hold on. Maybe I'm being an idiot. Tell me what you think about this while I make sure I'm not stupid.
Well, my thing is
Now they said it out loud. They are. I'm an idiot.
They're like, oh, with all the work that goes into it, the price is justified so you can have it looking good on the new system. It's like, all right, what about all the other games that will be on the new systems that aren't $70?
Yeah. Well, he said only certain games will be $70.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, what do you mean? Like, just certain games? What is the extra work to put it on a current console?
Well, it's so that they're justified and you can't get that kind of experience on any other games.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's as stupid as you think. Really, all this is, I'm still looking it up. All it really is him saying that this game justifies it, but this game doesn't. But this game does.
We worked really hard on this one, and this one we like.
Oh.
What happened?
We might have had a mental breakdown on the computer. I apologize. Sorry about that. Okay.
Everything's still recording.
Everything's still recording.
We're good.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. If you're watching this on video.
That was terrifying.
That was terrifying. I don't know what happened.
Anyway. I don't remember what I was saying anymore.
Rockstar is in Take-Two Interactive. I'm an idiot. So anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, so Rockstar can say that. And I understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But for them to say that this game justifies it and this game doesn't, who are they to say it?
Oh, I remember what I was saying. I was saying exactly that. I was like, so basically they're saying, we worked super hard on this one, and this one, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're literally saying their own work is bad.
Yeah. It's just an odd way of saying it. And he's saying that the industry won't follow them. And this is just
You
their
betcha.
call. Yeah, they said, like, well, this is our opinion. We can only speak for ourselves. And I was like, then
Well,
shut
get ready
up.
for people to not buy your stuff right away.
Yeah, like that's a really ballsy move to you. Not saying $10 lower, but for you to say we deserve to be $10 higher. That's a ballsy move.
Yeah.
Because like we all,
your game better be perfect to be $10 higher than every other game.
Yeah, because we all thought, like we all thought that when we saw the $70 price point, that the whole industry would follow. Because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why would these people be the ones? These people that take two.
Random.
Like, so we were just like, okay, that's where next gen games are going to be. But he's like, no, it's just us. I'm like, that's ballsy, dude.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But yeah, so Strauss Selnick, go work out in Bowflex and charge us $70 if you want. Whatever. So that's number 3 gaming news. Let's move on to number 2, which is about Rocksteady,
Woo-hoo!
which is not part of Take-Two, not as far as I know. Rocksteady Games kind of teased their next game with this little image right here. It's Superman.
Yeah.
With a Suicide Squad on his head.
I feel like this could have done better.
Well, it's a teaser image, so let me talk about this for a little bit. So Rocksteady has released this teaser image with Suicide Squad game, and they're saying, oh, Target acquired, and then they say more information at the DC Fandom August 27th, or August 22nd. Good job, Adam. Yeah, so let me read this quote from the article, link down below, and I was just about to make this point, and then the article already pointed it out. These rumors arose once again last month with a suggestion that the game's full name may be Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That was a leaked name, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Although the poster art featured above tweet just says Suicide Squad. The logo, however, is arranged with a crosshair over Superman's head, so certainly it looks like the squad will have it out for the Justice League. Now that's a Super Smash Melee I like to play out in a video game. So, yeah, so this is kind of proving the rumors right that it's a Suicide Squad against the Justice League kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll be playing as Superman.
Yeah.
But this also goes on the rumors that Rocksteady was working on a Superman game. And then Rocksteady also came out saying, nope, sorry, it's not a Superman game. They never really said that Superman's not involved. They just said
it's not a Superman game.
So yeah, a lot of people, I've seen reports saying like, oh, we could be playing a Superman. They just said it's not a Superman game.
Yeah.
And it's obviously
called Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad. And I'm sure at the DC Fandom, we're going to see the official title. But yeah, pretty rad.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think this is going into the rumors they were making a Superman game. Then it's a Suicide Squad Justice League. And this is a pretty sick image. Now, I added these little speckles.
Oh, so their picture was real boring.
No. Well, it's sort of. It's a Superman. But it's got the Suicide Squad.
I want to get into DC.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time.
You should do more Hawkman. Hawkman is a time traveler. So he goes back into...
Their names are horrible.
Hawkman?
Just DC names.
Hawkman has a mace.
DC name, they have zero imagination.
Well, like, what about Wonder Woman? Or Batman? Or Kite Man?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. And it's been 5 years since we've seen the last Rocksteady game. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm assuming this is going to be a 2021 game. If
Probably.
they're going to announce it August 22nd, I'd be
highly surprised if it was a holiday game.
Yeah, especially from a studio like Rocksteady. I'd be shocked if they said holiday 2020. I imagine this is probably spring 2021.
At least.
I'm assuming it is. So, yeah, not much on it. But yeah, it's just super cool news that this is official news. This is official teaser. And it's kind of saying the rumors are right. So, no, go away, scam caller. So, the number one gaming news is about the Avengers game.
Woo!
And that it's super good and totally consumer friendly. And everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
No, it's not.
I know.
So let me preface this is that I don't care about this, but it did make the news rounds, and I think it is number one gaming news because it is a bit bizarre.
It's crazy.
So Spider-Man in the Avengers game is going to be not a timed exclusive. It is going to be exclusive on the PS4 or PS5. Spider-Man character.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, not like a DLC skin or anything like that. Spider-Man, the character.
Yeah.
You will only play on the PS4.
Will not be in the story on Xbox.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is that I think we... Well, here's the thing. I think we predicted for the Tony Hawk game coming out because Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 or 1, I can't remember which one, but one of the two, you could play as Spider-Man. And we were just thinking, that's going to be on PlayStation.
Which, I mean, that's fine. It's a Tony Hawk game.
For some reason, I didn't expect this.
No, definitely not, because Avengers... Spider-Man is part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the package. So it's kind of like crazy to think like they would be that greedy.
So I want to read this quote right here. That's the most ridiculous quote I've ever seen.
Okay.
That's not showing up for some reason.
Oh, my magic fingers.
Go for it. But basically they said like, oh, this is something we can do, even though only Sony owns the movie rights, not the video game rights to Spider-Man. So this is a quote saying, we happen to be the ones who can execute and deliver when it comes down to the choices of where and what Spider-Man can be. Okay, can I read that one more time? Because that's the most...
We own Spider-Man.
We happen to be the ones who can execute and deliver when it comes down to choices of where and what Spider-Man can be. That's a relationship question that you know PlayStation absolutely has the right to that. As you guys know, with Sony's movie rights ownership there, and Marvel with Sony saying, hey, this is something we can do. This is something we can do on this platform. And as its creators, we have the opportunity that we can make something unique and fun and awesome.
Okay, just so I understand that I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Disney owns every other character in the Marvel universe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're telling me Disney does not have enough money to pay Sony to just take Spider-Man back?
That's a conversation for another day.
I'm just saying. So, okay.
We've
yeah, I know. I opened a can
when
of
I say
worms.
we've had this I mean the internet has had this conversation.
I know. I opened a can of worms. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on from that very obvious point.
Yeah.
So it's so greedy. And they were so defensive.
Well, they later said in that same article saying, well, if you want to play Spider-Man, you have the option to do so in PS4. I'm like, who hired this PR agent? Fire him.
And I know you said they only own the movie rights, but if that were like a solid defense, then you would have Spider-Man game on Xbox.
Yeah.
But you only have it on PlayStation because it's Sony.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When PlayStation had the Sony PS4, like that had the exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
I forgave it a little bit. I didn't have the PlayStation 4 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was so upset. And then we got the PlayStation 4 right before it got out. And I was like, oh. But, I was upset.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is that the Spider-Man exclusive game, I feel like that's more forgivable.
Yeah, because you're not taking an experience away from other players. Whereas this is a game that's releasing on all platforms, but without this one character on all the other. And I completely agree. I think it's greedy. I think it's ridiculous. PlayStation has tons of exclusives that make it worth getting a PlayStation. Mm-hmm. They don't need to take Spider-Man out of this game.
Now, here's my argument. Because we're only having this argument of, it's anti-consumer, it's all this, blah, blah, blah. If PlayStation, let's have the argument, right? PlayStation got the exclusive rights to Moon Knight, who's my favorite character of all time. Fight me on Twitter. I'm at Ace the Grocer. Moon Knight is the best. Get out of my house.
Okay, dear.
But yeah, if Moon Knight was a PS4 exclusive, I think people would be like, oh, that's it. They wouldn't have anti-consumer, but the fact that it's Spider-Man, now it's anti-consumer.
Because it's a more popular character.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Moon Knight was as big as Spider-Man, they'd have a field day.
But my point is that it's kind of hypocritical for people to say that's, it's anti-consumer when they wouldn't say it will be the same level of anti-consumer.
Yes.
But they're saying that because it's their favorite character.
It's not even because it's their favorite character. Spider-Man's not my favorite character.
What? Who is your favorite character?
I mean, I like the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like Spider-Man's not like my favorite Avenger.
What?
He's adorable, but...
Wait, but who's your favorite Avenger?
You know who my favorite Avenger is.
Captain America?
Captain America and Thor.
You only like him because of his pecs.
No.
Both have pecs.
Both of them are oblivious to how this world works, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man is they're like almost all even. Spider-Man, Captain America, and
Moon
Thor.
Knight. Oh, right.
And Thor.
And Punisher. And Moon Knight.
Are we going on your list now?
Moon Knight. But anyway, I do agree that it's anti-consumer, but there's not much we can do about it. And it seems like this stupid quote right here saying like, oh, we can decide. Like, shut up.
Basically, they're being greedy. They're trying to find a way to get people to buy a PlayStation as if not enough people have a PlayStation. Yeah. And like I said, they have enough exclusives that they don't need this. They're doing it and they're being petty in this situation.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Like, it's not even anti-consumer. It's just anti-community.
Yeah.
Like, you're just being mean to be mean. You don't need this. Like, it's one game. I don't know. It bothers me a little bit. If anything, if we didn't have PlayStation, this would make me more angry at PlayStation.
Yeah. So that's the top 3 gaming news. But yeah, Take-Two Interactive. Do you think it's okay for them to just raise $10 just for willy-nilly Am I a complete idiot that I forgot Rockstar Games was part of Take-Two Interactive? Write in comments down below. I'm sure I'm going to be seeing a lot of thumbs down on this video. Good job, Adam. Rocksteady coming out with the Suicide Squad game. Are you excited for it? What do you think we're going to hear about it? What do you think the title is going to be officially being? Write it down below. And also Spiderman only coming out for PlayStation. What are your thoughts? Is this anti-consumer? Would you rather Moon Knight in this game? Write your comments down below. Moon Knight was an Avenger, and then he left, but then the initiative came out. Tony Stark set him up. Anyways, but let's just get started with our final segment. We got a special guest with us, Brian McGuinness. Pleasure to have him on. Good friend of mine. I miss dapping with my boy, so let's just dap with him with our final segment. All right, everybody, we are back with our very special guest, comedian Brian Oh, he's gone. Brian McGuinness. How you doing?
What's going on? Hey, pleasure to be here.
Brian is a friend of the show. He does a show called Playable Characters What?
I'm his best friend.
Miss you very much, man. It sucks that we can't talk with each other.
You didn't finish saying the full name of my podcast. I need to get that in legally.
Oh, legally? Yeah, Brian, why don't you introduce your show while I miss you that I can't dap with you at Long Island Retro, but
Seriously.
in spirit. I know, it's crazy, but introduce to us your show. What's it called? What's it about?
It's called Playable Characters Podcast. We interview video game characters on our show. We've been going for about 3.5 years.
Yikes, yeah.
Wow.
Episode 174 just came out today on Monday.
Yeah.
Right,
Nice.
And where we interviewed Toe Jam and Earl, the legends.
Nice.
And Toe Jam was in some trouble. You'll if you listen, it's a hilarious episode, first of all. But yeah, so we have like actors and comedians and improvisers come on, pretend they're a character, and we talk to them for like 30 minutes and have a good time.
Nice.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah,
So I'll have that
very
episode linked down below in the description if you want to check out that episode with Toe Jam and Earl. Definitely just one of the most fresh podcasts I've ever heard. Like when I first met you and you said, "Oh, we interview." No, I said I'm a Fallout fan, and you said, "Oh, we interviewed the mysterious stranger from Fallout," and you were saying it like it was a real person. I was like, "What?" So I got into it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I can't imagine a better podcast than that, other than something about games and or groceries. I don't
You're
know.
such a weirdo.
It's close.
It's close.
One and 1A.
One and one.
No, it's super fun. We started with 3 people. It was me, myself, and I. Now it's me, myself, and I. Calvin left the show. Olip left the show, and I'm having a great time doing it by myself. It's still a blast.
I know.
It's all ad-libbed and improvised, so we never know where it's going to go. Like you'll see in the episode today, Toe Jam ended up in some trouble, and we didn't know it was going to happen. But it's really, really funny. So, yeah.
Definitely check out his show. Much funnier than our show, but
Well, it's supposed to be.
well, it's supposed to be. Yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to be.
But I want to bring you on, Brian, once again, because one, fantastic guest. And the last time you were here, Liz wasn't here.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I had to film it on my own, and the camera just did not work.
Oh,
with me.
my gosh. Yeah, you destroyed my camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did.
Why don't you leave now? Me and Liz will just rap on for an hour.
But I want to bring you on for all 3 of us to be on the same show. And I wanted to talk about this article that made the rounds last week. It was from, I believe it was
Why
Polygon.
is Stadia number 1?
Why is Stadia number 1? Big Stadia fan, by the way, if that makes any difference. Yeah.
It just works.
It just works.
It just works.
But Polygon came out with this article saying, oh, video games need to go to the black and white mentality. And I said, what? And I read this article, and me and Brian were talking about it. You didn't get a chance to read it yet.
No, but you told me about it.
Yeah, I gave you the highlights of it. But me and you read it, and there's some points in it where we both are just saying, I get where you're coming from, but I don't think you really understand how morality actually works. So the article states that should video games go back to a black and white mentality or morality instead of a gray area? So I want to start this conversation of just asking, what do we mean by a gray morality? So, Brian, what are your thoughts on that?
What I thought it was going for, and I could be completely wrong because it was way too smart for me. When I play games, I just want to have fun, and I don't really want to think about good and evil necessarily. You know, like
Yeah.
like when I have a choice to be good or bad, I usually err towards being good for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do, because I don't know why. I don't know what that says about me. Am I inherently a bad person? I want to try to be good in fake life. Maybe that could be why.
Oh, that's deep.
But right.
Yeah.
So the great thing I thought was like the games where it gives you a choice, you know, to be good or bad or both. Like,
Yeah.
and I know it mentioned Last of Us a lot, which I don't know if you finished or did you play? I don't even know if you played Last of Us 2. You're an Xbox guy, right?
spoiled it for myself.
Oh.
I haven't finished the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Well,
know.
I know I suck.
The second one was like 25 hours long. The first one was like maybe 12. So it was so much longer.
Yeah.
And like 5, 6, 7 hours in, I'm like, I don't know if this is as good as the first one yet. I figured I'd already be like drooling by then. But it took me like a month or two to finish it. But when I was done, I was just like what a masterpiece. Oh my God.
Really?
This game it blew me away. It did so many things where I've never seen before in video games. And the choice thing was a big part of this because like the first one there's a big choice towards the end with Joel. I don't know if you know this one. I mean, it's been out for 10 years.
Yeah.
When you can either kill or not kill the doctors working on Ellie at the end there, right? That's a big thing. And they do a few callbacks to that. That's like a big part of Last of Us 2. And it's like, and you start playing as a different character in the second one. And it's like, at first you hate her, but then you love her. And then it's like, you kind of start hating Ellie, even though you're supposed to love her. And it's like, it's a whole thing. And it's like, it takes on such a ride. And like, something like that, it's okay. But when like every game tries to do that, it's like, this is just too deep. I'm just trying to have some fun right now.
Yeah.
But I'm all emotional and you know. So the great thing I thought was like, you know, should all these games do too many games have the choice where you can be good or bad or a hero or a villain? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is either as far as what the right thing to be is. Should it be just a hero or just a villain? Who knows, right? They're there for fun. So
Yeah.
the choice is good to have, but I don't know.
Yeah.
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 What do you think?
Good night, everybody.
For me, because I think when you were explaining it to me, it also mentioned just the redeeming qualities in villains.
Yeah.
Or just like knowing their backstory, their reasons, like making them more human. And for me, as someone, as you explain, as swimming in the gray, I always believe people can change. I always believe in redeeming qualities. I believe that when someone is quote unquote evil, there's reasons behind that. They weren't just born that way unless it's part of like the canon of the story.
Or their president. Yeah.
You're right.
But that's what I mean. So it's like, for me, the gray morality is like, you believe that people can be redeemed and that this bad person can be good, or this person's doing it for what they believe is the right reason. It might be wrong as a whole, but to them, the way they're understanding it is right and makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
and we'll talk about that in a little bit, where it's, you know, what is your definition of good, right? And I think this article kind of stated, and I liked what you said, Brian, where when every game tries to be this gray morality, when, you know, games should be more fun. I think it even goes into music, right? With some people saying that, oh, some artists, what's the song even mean? What are they even trying to say? Not every song needs to be a deep message. Some songs,
almost all of Taylor Swift's songs are about a boy.
Yeah,
different boys,
or just plain garbage. You know, I don't know, but
okay, listen,
very, very popular.
Yeah. But yeah, some artists, including video games, some there is no deep message needed. Some just need to be fun. And I think this article, where I agreed with this article, when every game has to be a gray morality kind of game, I don't think it needs to be. But when we're talking about what a gray area is, I think we all like kind of hit it in the head, where a gray morality is knowing that there's no black and white mentality. There is no right and wrong.
Yeah.
It's just everything's kind of mixed in real life. But when every game tries to do that, it becomes numbing in a way.
Yeah. And I think it's very popular today. Go Go
What was
ahead.
that, Liz?
I was saying I think that's very popular today to have that, like you said, everyone wants to do that gray mentality. Like
Yeah.
for the past few years, a lot of stories, video games and movies have been showing that bad people are good people too.
Mhm.
Or they have
Right.
their reasons or they're redeemable, things like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, when a game is just like, we're not going to tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. I'm like,
Mhm.
no. Can you tell me what to do?
Yes.
Tell me what you
Can you please
want.
walk me through this? I have a kid. I'm old. Just walk me through it, please. I don't have time
Yeah.
to decide every single thing. Like, I don't
Mhm.
mind if games tell me exactly what to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sometimes I kind of prefer that, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like it's good every now and then, but that's why I like indie games so much. It's usually those are pretty cut and dry. Like this is what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do. This
Yeah.
is a character. This is the villain. This is a good guy. Whatever it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like to be told more nowadays as we get older. Just tell me where to go. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I mean, I'm only 29 now, and I just feel like, dude, I don't have time. Like when I first started Breath of the Wild, and it's just like, be free. I'm like, but
Nope.
where do I go?
What do I
Help!
do?
But what's my main mission? Who do I talk to? It's just like
Mhm.
I just played through all of the Walking Dead games, and I love it. It's just like, go here,
Yeah,
decide
Telltale,
this,
yeah.
go there, decide this, pick up this, and I'm like, yes, queen, this is what I need.
That sounded so wrong coming out of your mouth.
But it
I
also,
met the guy who played the main character in that at a voiceover thing once. and
Oh,
I made
yeah?
I made him call me Clementine. I said, "Could you say it once?" He goes, "Clementine."
nice. Oh, the guy who played Lee, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? Dang,
He's an awesome, really cool dude. He does a lot of VO, a lot of voiceover stuff.
dang.
But it was fun. Yeah.
I'll have to talk to you a little bit after
Oh
the
my
show ends. I don't know. No, yeah, it's some games have that morality system, and that's where you get to decide. And Walking Dead does it well, where it's deciding what's right and what's wrong in terms of the apocalypse, like similar to what we're in now. But it's kind of like, how do we help people out? And I understand that, but there's games like what you said with indie games. I know you absolutely love the game Ape Outs, right? Like, what's the gray morality behind Ape Outs? And
There's no thinking. There's no thinking in that game.
yeah,
Just go, just smash things. And I like that. Like if I don't have to
Yeah.
think, even in movies, I miss a lot of main points in movies. My wife always makes fun of me because I just don't understand. I just watch a movie just to watch it. Like when we're done, she goes, "What'd you think?" I'm like, "Oh, that was fine." She goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but what'd you think about this?" I'm like, "I didn't even catch that." She goes, "What? That was like the whole thing." I'm like, "I don't know. I just had fun watching it."
yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I just lose myself in it, but not. I don't want to think about it. I just want to be entertained for an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Mhm.
Like V for Vendetta is my favorite movie ever, and I
Ever?
did not know. Yeah, I love that movie, and I
What?
didn't even understand it till like the 8th time I watched it.
Wow.
I didn't know V was gay. I didn't know all this stuff. I didn't know that he was the guy. Like I'm just like, oh, I just thought it was cool. And
Yeah.
she's like, what? She's like, what are you, stupid? I'm like, I guess a little. I just didn't understand that was the whole point. I'm like, oh, now it makes a lot more sense.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like when there's too many things to figure out. Like I like figuring out puzzles and things like that. But
Mhm.
like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, games like that where there's 8 billion side missions.
Yeah.
Like it's a good game, but I'll never finish it.
Oh, same.
Because there's too many things to do, and I'm like, I don't want to do all these things. I just want to move the story along, but you can't sometimes.
Yeah.
It's similar, not really, but it's like there's just too many options, and I'm like, all right, it was
Yeah.
fine for a couple hours. I'm good, you know.
And that's like also another reason why I wanted to bring you on. And it's that, and I feel like a lot of people who don't really want that whole sort of like black and white mentality, gray mentality. Let's think about this struggling hero, right? And I think a lot of people make it seem like, especially this Polygon article saying that games need to be deeper. They need to know that convictions need to happen. But I don't think anybody is stupid for just enjoying video games,
Right.
whether there's a struggling hero or gray mentality. And I think this article is thinking too much into most video games. Where Brian, when you play video games, and I think this, I really wanted to get your perspective on this. You grew up in a different video game generation than I did, where I experienced the NES as a child, but I believe you were more of a teenager when that came out, right?
No, I'm only 40. I'm not 100.
Well, no, it's like going into teenager.
I got an NES when I was 8. When I was 8 or 9.
Oh, really?
I got
Okay.
one.
I thought
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
like
I can't-
11.
No, Jesus, come on, man. No. Yeah, and then I got a Super, I guess, when I was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So I was born in 1980. It's not as old as 79.
Yeah.
But I was born in the 80s. But no, yeah, it's so But but I mean, it's so different. Obviously, yeah. When people didn't have that generation or whatever, but you must have had it when you were.
Yeah, I was
mean, I guess
like 3, not even like
yeah.
It was like
it was already it was already out for a bunch of years, but it was about before you were born, I guess.
Yeah, like I was born in 91, so it came out in 85.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the thing. I think you remember video games, and there was always that hero villain kind of thing, especially with Zelda games. But I think you remember a time more than I do, right? Because I remember it in terms of a retrospective, but you were there, right?
I was there, man.
You were there.
Those Battletoads were good guys.
Yeah, like Battletoads and all that. Like, did you see this sort of evolution, right, from a black and white mentality when games are trying to take them? I'll say this, like when games are trying to take themselves too seriously. Did you ever see that kind of evolution from your time, from back in your day?
Oh
back when we had an Atari also.
Yeah,
but I think as games just got more, as the consoles got more powerful, they were allowed to do more things. You know.
Okay.
But Zelda does seem like the first game where you had to. That had a really good story. Mario, I guess, is a story, but it was so linear and cut and dry that I was like, all right, that's no big deal. But I'm trying to think of the first game I can remember. It must have been like either an N64 or a PlayStation 1 game where they really started to dive into more storytelling type stuff. I wish I knew like exactly when I was like, oh, cool, look, there's like a whole story. I want to know how this ends. Like
Yeah.
I didn't care how Mario ended.
Right.
You knew how Mario was going to end, right? Like it wasn't like, what, does Bowser kill him? Like what happens here? Like do I have to kill Bowser? Like slice his head off? Like what's the morality here? But yeah, I think once probably in like the PS1 generation when that started, that's when they started to do more of this morality stuff, I guess, and story-driven choice type games. You know?
Yeah. And I like what you said, like now that there's more technology and I feel like actors, now that they're more involved, right? Now that they know that video games can be much better stories. And I say this all the time. When Christopher Judge not tried out, like it's a football team, auditioned for God of War, he didn't think it was a video game.
Yeah.
They didn't know what it was at first, yeah.
Yeah, like he thought it was a straight up movie, and he was quoted to say that I didn't think video games could be this well written.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot more actors are starting to get, in tune with that. I'm just making sure camera one's still rolling. Whereas, Norman Reedus, right? He's getting involved in Death Stranding. We see Ellen Page in the David Cage games, right? So actors are even starting to say, oh, we can act more. Like this can be a theatrical version where video games, when they first started, they were meant to be, I'll say it, take it with offense or not, time killers, right? They were meant to be just like, not even mind numbing. I won't say it that far, but they were just
something entertaining.
Yeah. Putting a quarter
in a board game.
Yeah. Putting the quarter in the arcade system, turn on your NES, play some Pong. And now it's becoming this, deep enrichment of morality, right? And that's the thing. Like, now I have this question. Now that we talked this kind of evolution thing, do we think that games should go back to a more simpler version, right, of video games? Do we want the whole like Mario, Luigi, NES kind of story, or is that too extreme? Like, what do we all think with that?
Well, the good thing is that I don't think there's room for everything, right?
Yeah.
There's multiple consoles, including Stadia.
Yeah.
There's so many developers, so many indies and AAA developers that they can, if you want to make a linear, straight, bare bones, I'm not bare, but just like this is what the game is type of game. Great. If you want to do the thing where you could have a million choices and see what happens, that I think that's allowed too. That's why like all these choices we have now, it's like, like growing up back in the 40s with the NES and the Super Nintendo, it's like that was a great time. But right now, there's no better time to like games, and people who don't even like games play video games now because there's so many choices and options and ways to play them, and that's cool, I think. So I think, you know what, keep making every type of game. You're gonna find something you like. If not, go check your pulse. And that's the thing, is that there's so many different types of games where if you just want that, and I think this article, you can find it. You can find that if you just want that. If you don't, you can find that too.
Did you have a thought, Liz?
I think I mean, I agree. Like, definitely, there's plenty of games out there that if you just want cut and dry, tell you what to do, no questioning morality and things like that. There's them. But for me personally, like, I like the story games. That's what keeps me interested. If we only had like Mario stuff, I'd probably stop playing video games. Just because I don't find that stuff as entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll play it for like a round or two, but
those are more time-killing type of things.
Exactly.
Because it's a quick pick up and play. This is just fun. I love that they're excellent games, but they're not going to get to you. Like God of War got to me. Last of Us 2 and 1 got to me. You know what I mean? So, like Grease, that indie game. That when I was done with that, I just put the controller down and I was like,
it's magnificent.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like this is incredible. Like I did what did I just play? Like this was no words, nothing. It was just the most beautiful, awesome game. And you that one you had to sort of interpret what the story was. And I kind of like that sometimes too. Like, okay, I think I kind of get it. And if I'm wrong, I don't care.
Yeah.
If I'm completely off on this, I don't know. It was an amazing experience. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like games like that, like you said. I absolutely love Grease. I remember you talked about it and I said I have to play it. I played it and I bought it from my friend. Like, no, I'm telling you, I have so much faith in this game that you'll like it. I'm buying it for you. Like, I mean, it's only $14. It's not like a huge investment, but yeah, it was just this great interpretation. So long as you don't interpret it like, oh, this predicted the end of Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I don't think it's that. But like that's the thing is that there's games that will get you, and there's games that will question morality. Right. But I like what this article puts into perspective, saying that if every game starts to be more meaningful, then we won't have any meaning behind it. And I liked what it said there. Did you just raise your hand?
I did. Yeah.
It works. You stopped.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Look, the world sucks right now. Life sucks right now for a lot of people. So when you play these deep, thoughtful games, sometimes it's almost too much, and you're like, I just want to be taken away and play a fun, silly game. So like this new game, Fall Guys, on PS4 right now.
Yes,
dude, it's so fun. It's the stupidest effing game, but it's so much fun. And it's like, we need more of this. You know, it's completely stupid, but it's just so entertaining. So sometimes you want to go away because, like you said before, we're living in the apocalypse right now. Yeah, we don't want to play the apocalypse either. Sometimes, even though they freaking nailed it. But
I will say it was a little bit draining to play The Walking Dead because of how close it was to what we're living with. Now it's like, oh my God, why am I playing this? Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, Clementine.
But for me, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say those speaking of the voice actors that do this now, like people like Nolan North and Troy Baker, right?
Yeah.
Just start as regular video guys. Now they're doing the mocap stuff as well, and more huge actors are getting into it. So it's like, it's cool that they see this as a real type of art now, which it totally is.
Oh yeah.
It's not just sitting in a booth just screaming and doing a voice, but they're actually acting it out and doing fun stuff.
Yeah. What I was gonna say was that the other way I heard, like when you're talking about the article, I was thinking it in the perspective, and I don't know whether it's something you said or something that I just kind of like assumed, was that I think of it from them talking about like kids playing these games, because it sounded like they were concerned that kids were going to see good qualities in bad people, and they wanted kids to know what was good and what was bad.
That's a parent's job, not a game.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
But the thing is, that's not how life is. There are people who do horrible things, but they still have redeeming qualities. Kids need to know that people can change, because people who grow up thinking that people can't change ever, that's ridiculous. People can change, and it's okay for kids to know that, because you think way back like in 50s and when like comic books and everything, the heroes, it was heroes and villains, and that's how they grew up. They knew this is bad. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I was there.
Right.
But these people were bad and these people were good, and that's how it was. And as times went on, people started making more complex stories that I feel like it's important for kids to know that people aren't inherently bad.
Yeah.
Even bad people who do bad things have their reasons that make sense to them.
Well, that's what I didn't like about the article, where it said that it specifically said in the article, video games need to show heroes, right? People who are good, stand by their convictions. There is no waving kind of gray. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, article. I hear you. An article author that I can't remember your name. I'm so sorry. But anti-mask people, they think they're doing the right thing and they're standing by their convictions. Would you say that's a hero?
Exactly.
Because they're standing by freedom.
Yeah.
But they're not, because they're just doing it to be a dick.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Well, yes.
Working in a restaurant.
We all agree with that.
Yeah. Working in a restaurant, I can say Brian hit it nailed on the head.
Yeah.
But
there's no conviction there. It's just to be a dick.
Yeah. Like really. And that's the thing is that when it says standing by your convictions, you know, even talking about the subject of morality, even in real life.
Yeah.
Me and Brian were just talking about this, you know, like I'm a Christian. I was a youth pastor. Brian, you're atheist. My definition of good may not match your definition of good. Right. So when this article says that, you know, when we need good heroes who follow good, I'm like, OK, what is your definition of good? Like it's so real life is so gray, whereas the article states, no, in real life, there is black and white.
Yeah.
And I don't think so. I think morality in real life is so messy. And I think the best way, just to take this on this kind of route, the best way I've heard it explained was from C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity, where the first chapter, he says morality is like a piano. Right? You have all these different keys, the white keys, the black keys, right? Now, are any of those keys wrong? Or any of those keys right? They're right in some songs, but wrong in others. But none of the keys are legitimately wrong keys to have, right? And so that's what he was saying, that morality is just such a gray thing that you can't really say this is good or bad.
Yeah.
The keys on a piano, there is no good or bad key.
You just disagree.
Yeah. And I love the way that was explained. And then the book continues and my brain exploded. I had to read it 3 times. I'm like, wait, what did you mean by that? But yeah, but that's what I mean when this article starts to state that real life is black and white. And I'm like,
it's not.
It's so not. Especially right now what we're living in the presidency and the whole, like you said, apocalypse, the anti-mask. I think we're all seeing that like morality is messed up. But
it is.
It's the way also people, not to get way off topic, but it's the way people are handling it. People, and I think that's a problem with the person who wrote this article, that they clearly see the world in black and white.
Yeah.
They are a very black and white mentality type person where they see this person's bad and this person's good, but it's based on their opinions of who's bad and good. And people don't know how to cope with people who disagree with them.
Right.
Like, I disagree with people who are not wearing a mask. I think they're wrong, and I think they're being a jerk.
Why were you pointing at Brian when you said that?
I wasn't pointing at Brian. I was pointing at the wall. I was pointing at the wall.
I'm wearing a mask.
But I disagree with those people. I think they should just wear it and just do what they're told and just deal with it for a short time.
Yeah.
But like you said, they believe they're right. And and I've said it before on the podcast. I've talked to you about it. I'm a very like, you do your thing. I really don't care what you do.
Yeah.
That's your life. Believe what you want to. I don't care. So
the problem with that now though is that it's affecting millions of other people's
yes,
lives.
no, like I said,
that's where it's like,
I completely disagree with them, and if they want to fight me about it, I can.
Yeah.
But as far as dealing with other people disagreeing with me, I don't care if you disagree with me.
Yeah.
I really don't care about what you like. I mean, I care. I'll talk to you, but I don't care. Like, it doesn't affect me except for the masks. But it's like those things, and I think the biggest problem is that people with black and white mentality tend more to have a problem with people disagreeing with them. So I think that's a
good
big
point.
problem.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And like bringing this back into video games, I think video games can be a reflection of real life. And so when we talk about should games be morality, and I think, Brian, like you said, I think some games need to be just meaningless.
Yeah.
And it's fine to have no meaning. And I think it's fine for people to just say, I just want to have fun in games. I don't think that makes you less intelligent. I think that just means I want enjoyment in my life. You know, I'll read Newsweek, but also play Ape Outs. Like, that's the thing.
That's why I play Sims, because I don't really, it's not, there's no goal, there's no good or bad. I do whatever the heck I want.
Yeah, like there's like, I'll play something like Grease, and I also love playing Call of Duty, which, you know what I mean? Like, I like just shooting things sometimes, and I like a nice story, but like, with Last of Us 2, I'm just gonna keep just because it's still current. But
Yeah.
if you guys didn't play it, just forward this for the next 2 minutes. But the part where, or can I spoil it or no? Or like you said you read it. Should I not spoil anything?
Probably not because she didn't play it.
All right,
Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah.
But there's a part where one of the other main characters makes this insane decision. It's only like an hour in, and it blows your mind.
Yeah.
And but this was the right thing for her and her people to do. And then you hate her, but then you start to actually really like her, and it was a great part. It was So they nailed that. I don't know. I've never seen that done before so friggin' well. Whether it's a game or a movie or a book, it was just they just nailed this. Like this, you hate them, then you love them, vice versa type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby, everyone. I'm talking about Abby.
Abby, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if I'll have the time right now to like really invest myself in Last of Us 2. So I just said I really just want to know what happened. So I
you're
spoiled
like, I don't
it.
have time for Last of Us 2. I'm like, I don't even have time for Last of Us 1.
Yeah.
Haven't finished that. Now that I know you said it's like 12 hours, I'm like, well, I'm never gonna finish that game.
Yeah.
I'm like an hour in.
You could stop watching Gossip Girl.
In the first one, you gotta play the first one. It's
Yeah,
so
stop
good.
watching Gossip Girl.
But
Play
I
Last
like
of
Us.
Gossip Girl.
Come on.
And that doesn't require any type of like talent or
Brain.
skill from me at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Same with the writers.
Sorry.
Hey.
So I asked you on social media, should games media follow us on Twitter at Gaming Groceries, follow us on
Twitter.
Instagram. How are you gonna say Instagram?
Instagram.
And I'll ask you a question of the topic, and I'll want to read your answer. And so we have one answer: should games be a black and white morality basis? And Commander Nikki says, I don't think so, because most of the time there's never a clear black and white morality. There's so often something in the gray. And every so often, the gray area is the best way to approach something. Just having just black and white would be weird, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that in life, right? In life in general, everybody wants, like, are you on this side or are you on this side? And
Which is why most people don't like me.
Yeah. And it's just like sitting on the fence, there's like, oh, that's a decision. I'm like, kind of.
It can be to sit on the fence, but it's also like, for me at least, when I'm sitting on the fence, it's because I literally can't make up my mind. It's like because I'm that person. I understand both sides. I see both their reasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. But that's not my choice. I don't want to. I wish I could choose a side, but I just don't see it that way.
Games that make you choose, like you said, like Walking Dead, Until Dawn, Man of Medan, like that thing.
Yes.
Games like that going into it, you're gonna have to make decisions. That's different than I think like those third person linear sort of type. What are you gonna do now? Type of, you know what I mean? So, but the games where that forces you quickly to make a decision, those are nerve wracking as hell sometimes because you want to do the right thing, or you want to go back and play it again sometimes. But those are fun too because it's I think that. Like we just said, Liz, when you're on the fence about certain things, this you can't be, because sometimes it gives you 2 seconds to make that decision. So you have to push square. Did I do it right? And you don't know until the game's over and tells you what choice, who died because of your decision 3 hours ago. So those are fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I like what Commander Nikki said, that sometimes gray areas are the best way to go for it. Like that's just it. And I think, to all like put this together, right? I'm just seeing what time it is, but kind of put this together where she's saying that not always, right? Sometimes living in the gray is fine. And I think what this author is trying to do is make sure that I don't think that any morality should be put into games. I think what this author wants to do is just to say that, listen, I don't think we're getting this right. I think it's becoming too much, and maybe we should just go back to the simple. But I think that games can be a little bit deeper, and I think gray areas are the best way to go for it. And I especially love the way Mass Effect did it, right? With the Renegade and Paragon, right? And you can be a mix of the two, or even the way, BioWare. I was about to say KOTOR as well. but the way BioWare does it, right? Where it kind of swings left and right. Whereas Red Dead Redemption 2, it is so difficult to get into the good side of the bar. I don't know how people do it. I always ended up on the bad side, even when I was trying to be good, which is a deep thought. Like, you think you're being good in real life, but really, you're just an evil bastard. No. But
It's like the good place. It's like the good place. You're not getting enough real life points.
ooh,
Yeah.
banger.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, you do.
It's the best show ever made. Come on.
We'll watch that next.
Okay.
It's one of the best, funniest shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, we're watching Viking. We're rewatching Vikings now.
Oh.
Yeah, talk about morality. But but that's
Yeah.
but that's the thing is that I think what we're all trying to say here is that no game needs to be sticking themselves right with a gray morality. And I think there's this pressure right in the industry where if something is working for a game, you need to do it too.
Mhm.
Like we saw with open world games, right?
Yeah.
When Skyrim worked, everybody wanted to be open world. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that game did it, so we can all be.
Yeah.
And now I think games are. I don't know what started with the whole morality system. Maybe it was BioWare. I don't know, because now I said like
Yeah.
Skyrim with open world, but with morality, I don't know where it started. And everybody said, "Oh, that worked, so let's do it to ourselves."
It might have been they got it from movies and TV shows. Because, like I said, it's been over the past few years. Like, the first thing that comes to mind, and don't make fun of me, Once Upon a Time, the show. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
My wife loved that.
as that show, it was a really good show. I had never finished it, but it was a decent show. But it has the fairy tales, villains and heroes and everything like that. But the farther you go into it, the farther they show that good side of the villains, that side of the villains that give reason why they are the way they are. It shows their redeeming qualities, and some of them do get redeemed.
Yeah.
And I think it was around that time that shows and movies were starting to do that more, where you see those redeeming qualities. They want to redeem the evil person and give you a reason why they're doing it and things like that. So I think maybe video games possibly just got it from seeing it in movies and TV shows, because those were the first storytelling ones before video games.
Okay, I can see that. Brian, what do you think?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was trying to think too what the first game to do that was. That would be a good thing to know. I'm sure somebody knows.
Yeah, someone's gonna comment.
But yeah, Mass Effect, I didn't really play Mass Effect, but I know it did that pretty well. People always bring that up when it's like the good bad thing. I don't know. Yeah. Red Dead, Grand Theft Auto, I guess doesn't really. They don't really do it with that. Do they? Yeah, they do actually. Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 did that, I think.
Yeah, 4 did it. I think 5 did it. But Rockstar is pretty good in that way, because LA Noire definitely did that. Not in the terms of choices, but you get to see a hero fall, especially in LA Noire.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption. The name of it. Redemption, right? And you get to see this hero fall, but then try to get back up again.
Yeah.
He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. They're never gonna knock him down.
Nope, never.
Never. But right? Who made that? Oh, Wamba Jamba?
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. That's it.
These are not words.
Do you ever pick up a cell phone like you're in LA Noire and you just go like this? You just
Yes, I do all the time. Hey, look at that. What's on the back of your phone there?
You like that? That's
a nice sticker. What's that from?
My podcast.
Yeah.
I got it on Vistaprint, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, I got on Sticker Mule, who, like, as soon as I ordered, I found out the guy's a huge Trump guy. So I was like, damn it. So yeah, no more Sticker Mule.
Dang. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. I think it's a good time to go into our closing thoughts. So, in terms of video games, I think it can actually, reflect real life. But the fact that every game needs to reflect real life, every game needs to be morality. I brought up before, even with songs, right? Songs can be emotional, and songs, they have that effect on your heart, but not every song.
Some are just fun.
Some are just fun. I still remember when Gucci Gang came out.
No, that one's not one.
Gucci Gang. Okay. But everybody complained that there's no meaning. What is he even trying to say? It's like, okay, I don't listen to him, but sometimes music can be just
Yeah, there
Just
are songs
that.
that I'm just like, I don't know why I like this song. This is a stupid song, but I love it.
Yeah.
And I get super hyper when it's on.
not every artist needs to be deep, but when they are deep, right? Or even going to video games, it's more morality is more fluid than just black and white. And here's the thing, I've said this on the podcast before. I can be a black and white
Yeah.
mentality, and that's not a good trait. That's my stubbornness coming out. Whereas like
Struggle when I try and convince you of the gray.
yeah, and that's the thing, is that like I was very, this is this way, that's this
Yeah.
way. And that's not a good quality to have. And I think for video games to say that we need heroes to stand their ground, well, what do you define as a hero? What do you define as good? What do you think that a good, trait to stand on is, right?
Is Kratos a hero? Like, yeah, but he changed along the way. You know what I mean? He evolved and grew into he was one of the worst, but better person. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a good story too. But he didn't start as like, what should I do now? Like, it was like, you knew he was a badass right away.
Yeah.
And eventually warmed up to his son and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see that progression as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like,
But he wasn't evil. He wasn't like an evil dude.
Yeah, well, that's why
But
I talk about
that's
it.
exactly the thing, is that this article is saying that he should have been distinctly evil, and that was it. He's
Right.
evil.
Or if he's distinctly good, he's good, and he
He's
needs to
good.
stand
No
his.
questioning that.
But
Yeah,
that's
it did kind of say that, where it's like we should, but I didn't agree with the final part where I'm like, well, you wrote this whole article just to say no, it should be this way.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's my closing thoughts. Just to say that like morality is much more fluid, but not every game needs to have morality in it. Some of it can be just goofy, like Fall Guys. All right, and that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. Fall Guys is absolutely amazing. But closing thoughts. Brian, do you want to give us some closing thoughts?
Look, Chumbawamba had more than one hit. Actually, they probably didn't. I have no idea what else they did. I don't know. Games should just be fun, And like I said earlier, there's enough room to go around for literally every type of game. They're still making new genres of games, which is awesome. There's always something new that you're going to discover and find.
Yeah.
So when people get mad at a game for not being the game they want, it's like there's probably 7,000 other games
Yeah.
that that are like what you want. So
Yeah.
just go play that.
Exactly.
Don't get mad at Avengers because no Spider-Man, you nerd.
Oh, we were just talking about that in our top 3 gaming news too. Like,
My friend played the beta. He said no one's gonna be mad about Spider-Man. The game's terrible.
oh yeah.
Probably.
I still have to watch Maddie's video about he didn't like it either, and he made a whole video. I'll have to watch
I'm
it.
so surprised. Like, it looks cool, but that's not even a day one game for me. And just in general, it didn't seem like, because there's too much MMO RPGs. I'm like, no, I just want to.
Yeah.
I just want to, again, linear game. I just want to punch stuff and
Yeah.
shoot things.
Same.
Yeah, that's all I want. Like, don't give me this whole choice thing. But I'll get the PS5 definitive edition for $10 in 2 years, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
With every DLC. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just sometimes games can be just like bam bam punch, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think actually Wombat liked the beta. I think I saw his tweet saying he liked it. So that put me.
I'm surprised they messed this up, to be honest. If they did,
Yeah, if they
I'll be
did.
surprised. I'll be disappointed and surprised
Mhm.
if they really messed up, because it's like such a huge franchise to get. And
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you really messed that one up.
right. And then we get into the gray areas. Did they really mess it up, or is it just intentional? Like, is it black and white? Were they
Clearly,
just
you don't swim in the grave because that was all wrong.
were they heroes standing their ground and saying, "Listen, Spider-Man, he's ours," but
Oh my goodness.
Liz, closing thoughts?
Swim in the gray. No,
Yeah.
it's that life isn't black and white. Whether
Mhm.
this person who wrote the article thinks that, it's not.
Mhm.
It's not black and white, and I think it's okay for games to reflect that, because even with the animation, it's getting more and more realistic. So the stories are
Mhm.
also getting more and more realistic. It's
Yeah.
not black and white, and to teach kids that life is black and white, I think, is less helpful than they think it will be.
Yeah.
So
And that's the thing. I don't think we're trying. I don't think. I'm not trying to attack this person who wrote the article
we
at
just
all.
disagree with them.
Yeah, and I have the article linked down below if anybody wants to read it. And I did agree with some points. I saw where this person was coming from. I did. I understood.
They just took extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a bit extreme.
But when we deal with a black and white mentality, it doesn't matter if it's video games, movies, life. I just feel like that's just an unhealthy balance. And I don't think they understand the definition of good. No one's definition of good is
the
everybody's.
same.
Yeah. Or everybody's definition of bad is the same.
Yeah.
So when we, yeah.
No, I was going to say also games like The Witcher. Witcher 3 did this too as well, I think, right? So sometimes you'll do a couple things that get you on the good side.
Yeah.
And then you'll do something that maybe you think is good, but it actually brings you back to the bad side. You're like, wait a minute. I thought that was actually good. So that too, sometimes it's hard to, like you said, to go fully good or fully bad. Like you don't know. Maybe if that's intentional, I don't know. But unless it specifically tells you this is a green rating, this is a red rating, good or bad. Like sometimes you don't know, and it's like I don't know which one's good or bad here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think everybody at this table, including TV Brian,
Yes. Max Headroom. Do you guys remember Max Headroom? Of course you don't. You're young. Remember Max Headroom from the 80s? Look him up later.
Yeah, go.
He was like this TV robot weird dude that was on like
Max Headroom.
Max Headroom.
Yeah, I'll have to look him up. Maybe I have seen him in passing.
I'm sure you've seen him.
Yeah, I probably see him at my local grocery store. He's scanning items now.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I think we all agree at this table, including Max Headroom, is video games can just be video games. Stop trying to ask too much out of them. And I say this all the time with even podcasts, right? Not everybody has to have the perfect podcast. Me and Brian's podcast is, our podcast, his podcast, completely different things and insanely different things.
I'm very proud of you for correcting yourself.
I'm also an only child, but forgive me, all about me. But we're completely different in that sort of sense. It doesn't mean that ours is any better or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's better than Joe Rogan's. I think that's,
Oh my goodness.
both of ours.
Please don't.
We deserve $100 million Spotify deals, but
That would be nice.
but that's the thing is that everybody's game could be everybody's game. Everybody's podcast can be everybody's podcast. Just don't expect too much. Any other thoughts before we close out?
I think we've said everything.
Yeah.
Or at least I have.
Yeah.
I swim in the gray. My answer's really simple.
Yeah. So before we close out, Brian, where can we find you on Twitter? Do you want to plug anything else? Any other projects coming up? Red carpet to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, this is so much fun. Thanks for having me again, guys.
Yeah.
Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at laughatbrian. I've been doing these real stupid Ninja Turtle review shows on
They've been
my
amazing.
Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, I have every single turtle figure still when I was a kid. I have like 100-something figures. And I've been doing these little 1 to 2 minute reviews. Check it out. It's called Brian Reviews All the Turtles. It's on YouTube or my Instagram at laughatbrian. If you like turtles, they're only like a minute long and they're very stupid and fun. Other stuff, there's no stand-up comedy going on right now, which is great. But I'm also the voice of the Robitussin bear. You may have seen that commercial.
Yes.
That's me as well. Doing another one very soon, actually, which is awesome. So
Really? Another Robitussin bear?
Another Robitussin bear coming out soon for cold season.
You were also, you brought up Until Dawn. You were also in Until Dawn.
Yeah, I threw that in there, Yeah.
I believe you were the character with the blonde mohawk, right? And the glasses. That was you?
I was Hayden Panettiere, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was a girl walking around in a towel the whole time. No, I was a guy in the walkie-talkie, like when they were in the tower, telling them to calm down. I was a guy at the end that gets killed. I was one of the cops at the end. Had a couple of voices in there.
Yeah.
I love that game.
It's super fun. Hey, did you play Man of Medan?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's so
It was
good.
good. It was a lot shorter than I thought it was.
Yeah, which is fine because that was scary. Some parts of that. I was like, hurry up and finish this thing.
Yeah, I was disappointed. It wasn't scary enough for me.
Oh, I was scared. They just signed an exclusive deal with Stadia, by the way. Supermassive Games.
Oh, really?
Their next game will just be Stadia exclusive.
I
yeah.
feel like we should close the show.
Oh, yes, we should.
I'm sorry. She's keeping us on a tight schedule here.
And if you want to see Liz play Man of Medan, I'll link it right up there. But yes, Brian, thanks for coming on again. Like I said, I wanted all three of us to come on the show, but it's been a blast. Super funny dude. Like I said, check out his podcast, Playable Characters Podcast. Such a funny concept. And he said, great guest. And yeah, I'll link the latest episode with Toe Jam and Earl down below in the description. Oh, I think I clipped.
What did you just do?
I don't know. I should close out.
Probably.
Thanks for watching this week's. Thanks for watching and listening to this week's Games and Groceries podcast. We hope to find you in the next episode next week, and we will see you next time.
Bye.